Hi friends, welcome back to Insightfully Spiraling, where we think it through, feel it out, and spiral just a little bit. I'm your host, Alix. Thank you so much for coming back, guys. I am having such a fun time. I hope you guys are having as much fun being here as I am yapping, because I want to continue to do this. So thank you so much for coming back. I hope you guys liked last week's episode. It was a lot of fun for me to film with Weston, and I don't know. He's just my person, my best friend. So we had a really fun time. But a lot has happened since then that we need to spiral about. First things first, for a little pop culture moment, I have two things I want to talk about. First, I want to talk about Miss Sabrina Carpenter. Guys, I love Sabrina Carpenter, and I am filming this on a Saturday. And so she just performed Coachella weekend 2. She brought Madonna out. Guys. That's all I have to say. She killed it. She's beautiful. Love her. But kind of the PR drama I kind of want to talk about today is the Alex Cooper versus Alix Earle that is going on right now. For anyone who doesn't know, there was a TikTok video that somebody made where they were essentially saying that Alex Cooper is like an ambulance chaser, where she sees the drama, sees what's going on, and then hurries and gets whoever is involved in the drama on her podcast. And Alix Earle reposted that TikTok. And the reason that is a big deal is because Alix Earle has a podcast, and she used to have her podcast under Alex Cooper's production company, Unwell, and we don't know why, but they split and they haven't been seen together since. So then Alex Cooper, which I feel so bad for her publicist, because she is probably having a field day trying to fix everything that's going on, made this video that was like, I don't normally address this stuff, but Alix Earle, there's no NDA. If you want to spill the tea, then go ahead. So then Alix Earle commented and said, okay, on it. So there's like this whole Alex versus Alex beef going on right now. I had not even heard about the original feud until this started happening. So I'm very curious to see how it all turns out. But I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the tea. I will say, from a bit of a PR perspective, I think that Alex Cooper is not handling this very well. She is kind of handling it like a teenage girl. And by that, I mean she is like posting black screens on her Instagram story that she's writing on. And I remember when I was in high school, we used to make fun of people who would do that on their Snapchat story. So it just feels a little bit immature to me, but I don't know the whole story. I'm curious to see what happens. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe this will be a continuing PR moment that we have and that we kind of continue to talk about. I don't know. I also don't really think it was a good move for Alix Earle to repost that TikTok. It's been, I don't know. Everyone knows that she's split from Unwell, and I feel like she's just adding fuel to the fire at this point. I think no one just should have done anything, but here we are, and I'm having fun watching it. So, the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about is so much has happened since last time I filmed. I rescued a kitten who no longer lives in my house. So if you guys follow me on my Instagram, I posted a little bit about this on my Instagram story, but today's Saturday. This happened not this last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, so a little over a week ago. We live in like a fourplex, and so I live on the bottom left, and we have a bottom left neighbor, a diagonal right neighbor, and a neighbor right above us. And the neighbors right above us ended up being two couples. And when they first moved in, I didn't really interact with them much. Weston helped them move a couch and some other furniture in a couple of different times. But long story short, everyone had moved out except for my neighbor, who I will call Alan. I don't want to use his real name on here. He had moved here with his girlfriend. She was pregnant. I don't know if she was working or not, but she ended up getting super depressed being out here. And so she moved back home with her mom. And their plan was for him to also move back there, them save up a little bit more money before coming back out here. Since she was pregnant and they were going to have a kid, they wanted to live on their own and be a family on their own. And this was like a Wednesday after work, I think, because I got home. Weston wasn't home. He was out recording some new songs with his friends. And I get a knock on my door, and it's my diagonal right neighbor. It's the mom of the family that lives there. She was like, "Do you know if the people that live above you are still here?" And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I saw moving trucks, but I thought there was still one guy living there. She's like, "Oh, well, they left their cat here." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, like they left food and water bowl out, but the cat's still here." And I was like, "Oh." It's like, I don't know, maybe he like works nights or something and the cat got out, and so he put food and water out for it in case it came home. Like, I didn't really think that much of it. And so Weston had called me on his way home, and I was like, "The neighbor's cat's outside." He was like, "Oh, okay." But when he got home, he was like, "Oh, the cat's on the stairs," thinking that it was outside on their patio. And I was like, "Oh, really?" So we go outside, and Weston goes to check the water bowl because we live in Arizona and it is already getting hot. We're already in the 90s most days. And he goes up to check the food and water bowl. I go to see if the cat's friendly, if it will let me like touch it or whatever. He immediately let me touch him. He let me pick him up. He was so sweet. He started purring as soon as I picked him up. And then the dad of that same diagonal neighbor family, the husband of the wife who initially knocked on my door earlier in the evening, came downstairs to take their dog outside. He's like, "Yeah," he's like, "This cat's been outside since 6 o'clock this morning when I took my dog out." And this was like 8:30 at night. He was like, "He's been out since 6 a.m. this morning, and we would take him inside, but I'm allergic and I don't know how he would do with our dog." And I was like, "Oh, this poor thing." So Weston and I took this cat in, just get him out of the heat, get him inside, because their cats are inside cats. Like when the people upstairs were still here, their cats would go on the patio, on the balcony, like we'd see them outside sometimes, but it wasn't like the cats would go in and out and explore and like leave the area. We also have coyotes, and I didn't want this poor thing to get eaten by a coyote. So we brought him inside. Guys, when I tell you this is the most perfect cat in the entire world, it was a boy. He was not fixed, so we could tell he was a boy. And he was the sweetest cat in the whole world. I named him Cheeto. For anyone watching, I'll put some pictures on the screen of him. And he was the sweetest thing ever. Some cats, I feel like you have to kind of work to get them to purr. Like it takes them a minute to settle down and start purring. He's one of those cats that the second you pick him up, he looks at you, he starts purring. I have the cutest video of him like laying on my chest, looking at me and like rubbing his head on my face. Like he really was just the sweetest cat in the whole world, and so smart. So in my kitchen, I also have a laundry room, but the doorway doesn't have a door. So we just put a curtain over it, and he tried to go in there and I was like, don't go in there. That's not for you. Turned around, came right back out, never tried to go back in the laundry room. Like just so smart and so sweet. He loved Weston. I have several pictures of him cuddling Weston. Weston works from home, so he got to spend all day with him. I didn't have a litter box the first night we had him, obviously, because we didn't have any animals. And so I'm pretty sure the poor thing held everything in as long as he could. He didn't end up pooping in the bathroom, which I was like, okay, that's good. We locked him in the bathroom overnight, so if he did have to go, it was in there. But the second I went and bought a litter box, he only went in the litter box. He never tried to go anywhere else in the house. Like, he really is the perfect cat. And he was very good about his claws. I gave him a bath and he tried to get out the whole time. Obviously, cats don't love water, but there were never claws. There was never any biting. The only time he bit me was like a really soft, like, hey, I want to play nip. Like literally the most perfect cat. Like I miss him so much and I love him so much. But unfortunately, we ended up not keeping him because we have some family members here that are allergic to cats. And number one, I didn't want to inhibit them from coming to our house or like having to completely shower, change my clothes just to go over to their house. But it also just would have been a lot. We would have had to pay a pet deposit. Our rent would have gone up. Weston also, understandably so, does not want animals in an apartment, especially because Cheeto loves to go outside. And we didn't have an enclosed yard for him to go outside and be safe in. So I started looking for a home for him. I had so many of my friends who live out of state and they're like, I tried to convince my husband to drive down and come get him because when I tell you he's the cutest cat in the whole world, I took him to the vet to get, just to get checked out, make sure everything was fine. I got him a rabies shot and I kept hearing the nurses out in the hallway like, there's the cutest orange kitty here. Like, you guys need to go see him. Like, he truly is the cutest cat I've ever seen in my whole life. And I've had a couple of cats growing up. He's the sweetest, most well-behaved cat in the whole world. Literally the perfect cat. But just for a lot of reasons, Weston and I were not able to keep him. And so my coworker, Rachel, her and her boyfriend, I almost said husband, not married, but her and her boyfriend, Seb, are cat lovers. They have a cat named Greg, who I haven't met yet, but I've heard he's such a sweetie pie. He's old. He's 8 years old. And the vet estimated Cheeto is anywhere between 7 months to 18 months. It's hard to tell when they're this young. But Rachel's just been telling me that Greg needed a friend and he does a lot better when he has a friend, but it needed to be a cat that was a lot, I guess just a cat that was chill. They wanted a cat that would not only play with Greg, but would not be too crazy. Obviously animals get the zoomies. It happens, but there's a difference between a chill cat that has the zoomies and like an insane crazy cat. And so it just ended up working out so perfectly where Cheeto had the perfect demeanor and Greg needed a friend. So Cheeto is now living at my friend Rachel's house, and selfishly it works out really great for me because I can go over and see him and visit him. But they're cat lovers. I also wanted Cheeto to go to them because I knew that he would have a really good life there. Like, Rachel spoils Greg. He gets organic, all natural food. Like, he's the king at their house. And so I knew Cheeto would be well taken care of. They did change his name to Steve because they wanted a name that went better with Greg. But in my head, his name will always be Cheeto. I love Cheeto. So that was like a crazy time. And I did kind of feel bad for Weston because he has a hard time with pet fur being all over him. And we just unexpectedly all of a sudden had this cat. So it all worked out for the best in the end. And there definitely were some tears. The day that I knew that Rachel and Seb were coming to pick him up, I was like driving home from work. I was like, okay, I have to keep it together until Rachel and Seb leave. I don't want them to feel uncomfortable or bad. And I was so good. I was so composed the whole time. I gave Cheeto some hugs and kisses, and then they went out the door. And the second the door locked, I just lost it and I was crying, but it is for the best, and all's well that ends well. And it is a good thing that we found him a new home sooner rather than later, because I would have gotten way too attached if we had waited too long. So I do kind of feel bad. Weston feels bad that we're not keeping him, but logistically it just makes sense that we didn't end up keeping him. So that was my Cheeto adventure. I can't believe that only happened a week ago. It feels like it's been such a long time since that happened, but yeah. So that was my fun adventure for this last week. I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know if you guys are dog people or cat people. I've always said I'm more of a dog person. Like, I like cats. My parents have a cat, and we've had a couple of cats growing up, a couple of dogs growing up. But Cheeto may have converted me to loving cats a little bit more. So let me know. Are you guys a cat person? Are you a dog person? What animals do you have? Do you have animals that aren't a dog or a cat? My mother-in-law has birds. Let me know. I love to hear all the fun pets people have. Let me know in the comments. But let's get into today's topic. I've been thinking about this a lot, but I didn't really know how to put words to it. And as much as I'm trying to scroll less, sometimes TikTok has some good insights that helps me put words to my thoughts. So this girl, her username, I don't know if I'm going to say her name correctly, Nakai_Mitchell. I hope I'm saying that right. She just put words to my thoughts I was having. And so I wanted to just kind of talk about that today. In her TikTok, she said, is whimsy just peace beyond understanding? Is it having joy outside of your circumstances? What? Guys, I don't know what side of the internet you guys are on, or if you're not on the internet at all, but I have been seeing so much this year that people are wanting to make 2026 the year of whimsy, the year of adding more joy and color and spontaneity and joy outside of their circumstances into their lives. And I think that is wonderful. I've been seeing so many girls, leaning into like their Fancy Nancy love. If you guys don't know who Fancy Nancy is, it's a children's book where she is Fancy Nancy. She always has on like the most accessories and does the most extravagant, flamboyant everything in her life, which me and Fancy Nancy would be friends. But I just have been seeing a lot about whimsy online, and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about I don't even want to tell you what we're going to talk about, but we're just going to get into it. I think that this is going to be slightly controversial. I am a believer in self-care, and I am a believer in protecting your peace and looking after yourself. But I think that social media and a lot of us have taken it too far. I think that we have taken the phrase, it's okay to not be okay, too far, to the point of where we're just not okay all of the time, which is such a sad, terrible way to live our lives. Why would you not want to be okay all of the time? I understand that it's impossible to be 100% fine all of the time. Life happens, whether that's things in our control, outside of our control. But something that we can control is choosing to find joy outside of our circumstances. And I 100% agree with this girl that that's what whimsy is. It's saying, you know what? I might not make as much money as I want to make, but I have this colorful paper, so I'm going to go make a paper chain because it's going to bring me joy. Or, you know what? I might not be as skinny as I want to be, but I was able to go outside and go for a walk in the sunshine today. I think this kind of goes hand in hand with romanticizing our lives and just seeing and adding the whimsy to our life. But I also think trends have ruined whimsy to go along with that. I think millennial gray and the zillennial beige, which I am a victim of the zillennial beige. I love like a neutrals, browns, golds moment. Love it. I'm here for it. But I think feeling the pressure to go along with trends has also taken the whimsy out of our lives. People are so afraid to add color into their homes or to wear funky jewelry or to have sparkly shoes on or to do eyeshadow. The clean girl aesthetic came in and nobody's doing eyeshadow looks. Well, we kind of are. We're bringing back 2016 online. But for a long time, people weren't. People weren't dyeing their hair fun colors. People weren't buying the purple couch. People had gray and beige houses. And we forgot that your house doesn't need to look like Kim Kardashian, which, don't get me wrong, her house is beautiful. Her house is stunning. I would love to go and visit it and just have a tour of the inside of her house. But add flowers to your door frame, or go put on some black lipstick if you're feeling like black lipstick that day. Or if you bought some hair tinsel, go put some hair tinsel in your hair. We have forgotten how much fun it can be to be Whimsy, and how fun it is to be Fancy Nancy. And I think it's not always to the extreme that I might be giving you examples on. I think part of adding Whimsy to our life is finding something that you love, which then leads to finding a community. So to simplify that, something that I was thinking of is fandoms, which I know some people don't want to admit that they're fangirls, fanboys, and fandoms, but we're all fangirls or fanboys or whatever you are, fan persons of something. Whether or not that's what your community calls it, we are. I'm a big nerd. I love Harry Potter. My sister and I used to always take the house sorting quizzes to figure out which house in Hogwarts we would go to. We would talk about what Patronus we would have. We also loved Percy Jackson growing up, and were able to have the community from that. I'm an Alani Nu lover, and it was really fun because I did my senior project on the brand Alani, and I was able to chat with some fun people about their love for Alani and their love for communication. And I think it's those little twinkles in our lives that add the extra whimsy to it. Like, for example, you guys learned in last week's episode, my husband does martial arts, and he has class twice a week. And sometimes on those days, he's just having a hard day, or he's tired, and he's like, I don't want to go. Like, I'm just so tired. Like, my body's tired. And I'm like, just go. I'm like, number one, we pay for it, so you have to go. But number two, I promise you, you will feel better. And he comes back, his energy's back, the twinkle in his eye is back. And it's because that class and that activity is the extra whimsy in his life that brings him extra joy. Because once you get into adulthood, life kind of becomes mundane. You get up, you go to the gym, you come home, you eat your breakfast, you get ready for the day, you go to work, you come home from work, you run your errands, you eat your dinner, you spend some time relaxing, and then you go to sleep. And that's your day 5 days out of the week. And then the weekends are a little bit more whimsical, a little bit more fun, a little bit more spontaneous, full of adventures. But as much as us humans love routines, and I know most of us thrive when we're in a routine, it also can become kind of mundane. I understand it. Working a 9 to 5 can be hard, or whatever your work schedule is, it can become very monotonous and very mundane. And so I think it's those little pockets of community or fandom or twinkle that add that extra whimsy to your life. I hope that my thoughts are all correlating here. But I wanted to read you guys this post that I found on Facebook. There's a purse brand called Portland Leather Goods, and they have a Facebook page called the Leather Insiders page, and it's their fandom page. So it's run by the brand. Portland Leather Goods runs the page, but people get on and they'll like ask questions or whatever, but a lot of it is just people sharing their love for the purses that this brand makes. So Portland Leather Goods is a purse brand. They make purses, they make crossbodies, they make wallets, passport holders, keychains, anything you can think of in real leather that's ethically sourced. And this page is 99% of it is people sharing their bag of the day, sharing their unboxings, getting hyped up by other people in the Portland Leather Goods community. It's them sharing how much they love the workers at the store, sharing how much they love their customer service team. Like, it is just a community of people that all have a love for the same product and the same brand, adding some whimsy to their life. And sometimes when I see pages like this and it's something that I don't quite understand or something that doesn't quite resonate with me, I'm like, whoa, these people are obsessed. Like, that's crazy. But then I put myself in their shoes and I get it. I understand. And there's a girl who posted this, and I just want to read you guys this post. She said, "When I was 2 years old, I lost my right leg. Shoe shopping has always made me cry. Still to this day, it's really hard. Then I found Portland Leather Goods. I can have pretty leather accessories that make me feel like a girl. I can't be a shoe girl, but now I'm definitely a Portland Leather Girls purse girl. It sounds weird, but for me, it gave me that twinkle that I always needed. Who needs shoes when you can style like this? Thank you, Portland Leather Goods, for the leather a girl always needed in her life." I got teary-eyed the first time I read that. I think whimsy is a necessity for all of us that we sometimes forget that we need. Obviously, her case is very extreme. Not all of us have had the experience of losing a limb and having to find whimsy in that experience, in that circumstance. But we all go through hard things. And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm having a hard time, my whimsy is what gets me through. My twinkles throughout my day is what gets me through. I think sometimes, I don't know if this is a universal experience, but I know a lot of girls have gone through this. I think that being a girl, sometimes it feels like the world is trying to take away your whimsy. I don't really want to turn this into a gender conversation, but there are a lot of times that growing up as a girl, if you have a hobby, you're made fun of for that hobby, whatever it is. Oh, you scrapbook? That's so dumb. Oh, you like to sew? You're like a grandma. Oh, you do sports? That's so weird. You're like a boy. Like, I just feel like a lot of the things that bring us whimsy as girls growing up, we kind of get made fun of for, and then we just don't want to do them anymore. And I think that's why a lot of us in our 20s are rediscovering our twinkles and our whimsy, because we have finally gotten to the point where we don't care. We don't care that you think me making a quilt makes me a grandma, or if someone likes to go out and play sports, you think that makes them manly, or a girl who likes to wear a full face of makeup every day, you think that makes them fake or that makes them extra. We just kind of stop caring. And we remember how much joy those little twinkles bring us in our life. And we decide our twinkles are more important than your opinions. I think it helps too that we're like out of puberty and we're finding ourselves finally. And we, I don't know, are just out of what I believe the toxicity of high school is. We can talk about that in another episode, but we're just at a point where, like I said, our twinkles are more important to us than the opinions of others. And I think it takes a little bit longer now because of social media, because there's pressure to fit into the trends. There's pressure to do whatever is cool at the moment on social media. Don't get me wrong. I love social media. I love posting. I'm posting on social media right now doing this, but I think we need to remember that social media is for documenting, and we should be documenting more than we should be consuming. And I think that will help you get your whimsy back and get your twinkle back. I have found that when I scroll less, I feel more creative. I think social media takes so much of our energy and so much of our time and our attention that when you truly take time away from it, your creativity to create that whimsy in your life really does come back, which I think is really cool. I think it's sad, but I think it's really cool that we as humans want to add those twinkles back into our lives. Yeah. Like I even just think about my sister is a big gamer girl. She loves to play on her Switch, and I think her husband has a PlayStation maybe. I don't know what gaming setup he has. Maybe he has an Xbox. I don't know. I'm not a gamer girl. But sometimes my sister will show me whatever game she's currently playing, and I'm like, that's cool. I love that you bought your fake cats on your game a new hat. But then I have to remind myself that this is her twinkle. This is her whimsy. This is her extra happiness that she adds into her day, especially being a mom to 2 of the cutest babies in the whole world. She needs a little extra something to get her through her life. And if that's her whimsy, that's her whimsy. I'm not going to yuck her yum. That's not nice. It's not nice. But I think it's just finding those twinkles in your life and being more intentional about finding ways to put them into your routine. Obviously, I don't think we should become excessive. I'm all about balance, but I don't know. If you love Harry Potter, go find some fanfics to read. I don't know. I'm not about a smutty fanfics, but if that's what your twinkle is, go find a smutty fanfic. If you love to have your nails done, go do your nails. If you love the 2016 makeup trend that's coming back, go give yourself a smoky eye and some winged eyeliner. If you love to play video games, go play Pokopia. Like, whatever your twinkle is, go find it. Add some more whimsy to your life. If you want to paint your house purple, paint your house purple. Who the heck can tell you no? Maybe your husband or your partner, whatever. It's good to consult with them, but I think what's more important than anything is figuring out what that twinkle is. You start to have the happiness glow, and with the twinkle in your life, you get the twinkle back in your eye. So my challenge for you today, my invitation for you today is to figure out what one of your twinkles are. Figure out what some whimsy is that you are missing in your life. And if you already know what it is, go do it. Go read your favorite book. Go draw your favorite character. Go make a craft. Go work on your knitting project you haven't picked up recently. Go to your dance class. Whatever it is. Whimsy, I think, is the sparkle on top of our routines. I think that's all I have to say. But thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Insightfully Spiraling. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you are able to take something away. Let me know what your whimsy is. Let me know what your whimsy of the day is in the comments down below. I'd love to hear and get some more ideas. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate each and every single one of you so much. And I will talk to you next week.